Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to AP US History through Canvas. In this short video, we'll look at how the class will work through Canvas for those of you taking the class online at home. When you first log into the class on Canvas, you should see a screen that looks something like this. And typically the first thing you should do will be to click on the Announcements button. And this will show you an announcement each day showing what we plan to do on that day. You can then click on the link and see what that might be. The first day of class, we're going to begin with a Zoom meeting. And most days of class, there will be a Zoom meeting, so we can keep in touch with everybody who's at home. The links for the Zoom meeting and the meeting time will be posted in that announcement. The first day of class, we'll be meeting at the start of class. Most days, we may meet at a later point, about halfway through class, so that you can read or watch the lecture for the day, and then we'll discuss it once it's over with. As you can see, each announcement, or most announcements, will have a link to a particular lecture. Our first lecture will be on pre-Columbian America. For every lecture, there will be two ways to enjoy the lecture. I have a recorded video for every lecture, which you can watch. It is embedded in Canvas. You can also find them on YouTube if you wish to search for them. I also have my lecture notes that I'm lecturing from, and you may choose to look at these rather than watch the video. In some cases, there are extra images or even videos embedded in the lecture notes. Or as another option, you might listen to my video while also reading along in the notes. Whatever works best for you is fine with me. In most days, the expectation will be that you will read or watch the video lecture, which tend to be 30 to 45 minutes, although a few are a bit longer. The first part of class, and then log into a Zoom meeting to discuss the lecture the last 30 minutes of class or so. In addition to finding the lectures through the announcements, you can also go to the class schedule. The class schedule lays out what we plan to do each day, and there are links to each of the lecture topics. There are also links to the quizzes. There will be quizzes covering the lecture material. Each quiz will cover, for the most part, material since the previous quiz or previous test, although it will occasionally refer to some earlier things as well. Quiz 1, for example, will be over pre-Columbian America and the age of exploration. Quiz 1 will open up on Canvas at 7:30 a.m. on January 6th and will stay open for 48 hours, so until 7:30 a.m. January 8th. When you feel ready to take the quiz, you can click on the link and begin the quiz. Each quiz will have 14 questions worth 10 points each, so that you can actually get quite a few bonus points on the quiz if you do well. And those quizzes can be found through the class schedule. It can also be found in the announcements, as I'll post a link to each quiz, the days that they're available. For each unit, there's an introduction you may wish to read before starting the unit. There's also a review guide for each test that you can find in the schedule as well, listing important topics that you may wish to pay attention to during that unit, and also, in many cases, sample questions that might appear on the unit test, and so it wouldn't hurt to plan ahead for those. This class was originally taught in an entire school year. Unfortunately, we only get to teach it in one semester now, which means that sometimes we have to go pretty quickly. That's especially the case in the spring semester because the AP exam comes so early in May. So there are a few topics that unfortunately you will have to cover on your own. On the schedule, there are a few topics highlighted in red, and those we will not have time to cover in class. You should plan to look at those on your own. There are only a few of these, at least hopefully, and I'll make announcements about those as we get closer to them. But there are a few here and there, and it is possible that if we have snow days or other things come up, that there will be more lectures you'll have to look at on your own at home. Besides reading the lecture notes on your own or listening to the lecture video, and joining the Zoom meeting most days, you should also plan to participate in discussions each week. You will need to post an introduction as an assignment, introducing yourself to the class, sometime by January 11th. That will be one of our first assignments and hopefully an easy homework assignment. There are also discussions each week on some important topic for that week. Our first discussion, for example, will be over the exploration of the New World. For most discussions, you'll have 3 questions to answer, often, although not always, following a document or a picture to kind of inspire you on that topic. You'll need to make a substantial response to each of the questions. You'll also need to respond to 2 other students' responses, kind of beginning a discussion with other members of the class. And it is part of the class grade. So please make sure you keep up with the discussions each week as well. And besides being able to find quizzes and discussions and other things in the announcements on the schedule, you can also look at the tabs on the left to find all these things. You may also visit the Files section. The Files section has a few things you may need to print off. We'll be completing a physical map of the United States, a map of the states and capitals later on. Here's a list of the presidents of the United States, which may be useful to study. You can also go to each unit, and there you can find my lecture notes as a Word document, as well as the PowerPoints that I use, and another copy as a Word document of the study guide for that unit. There may be other times when you're asked to check the file section for information as well. You can also find a rubric for the various essays that we'll be writing in class to show you how those are scored. Should you have any questions about anything, you're certainly welcome to email me, or of course ask me questions during Zoom meetings. There will also be a place in the discussion board to ask any questions that you have in general, either for me or for your classmates, or discuss anything that might come up over the course of the semester. If at any point you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I hope this gives you a basic introduction to how the class is set up online. But as time passes, above all, pay attention to the announcements to know everything that we're doing and if there are any changes to this plan. Yeah, I expect to post an announcement each day telling what will be happening the next school day. So please check that each afternoon to prepare for the next day. Thank you very much, and we'll have a fun semester together.